when your offer's been accepted, what about after that? So like the offer's accepted, I'm like, am I good to go, or what else?
Well, so let's say you have
Adam, how much money do I need to purchase a house?
certainly the more money you have liquid, in other words, the more money you have in your bank account that you have immediate access to, the better. When you're looking at it from the seller's perspective, the more money the buyer has to put down on the house, the less money they need to take out as a loan from the bank, which means there's less risk involved. So the higher the loan, the more potential risk, the longer you got to wait to get the loan approved. Excuse me. So the more money down that you can put, the better. A lot of us don't have a bag of cash that we can just hand over. And so the general rule of thumb is you want to have at minimum at least 5% of the purchase price that you can put down on the house. Here in Massachusetts, the standard is to put $1,000 down with any offer. And then at the purchase and sale, which is again about 10 days later, once the offer has been accepted, you're going to put down 5% of the purchase price minus that $1,000 that you've already submitted. So in total, within the first 10 days of buying a home here in Massachusetts, minimum, you're going to need to have 5% down and written as a check to the listing agent's escrow account.
Got it. So that's after so just when your offer's been accepted. What about after that? So like the offer's accepted, I'm like, am I good to go, or what else?
Well, so let's say you have a total of 10% that you can put down towards the purchase of the home, and you're financing 90%. In this scenario, again, within that first 10-day period, you're still going to be putting down 5%. And then whenever the closing is, whether that's a month later or 6 weeks or whatever, you are then going to bring another check for the remaining 5% that you have, that you're going to be contributing in liquid assets. So the 5 that you put down with the purchase and sale and the 5 at closing, that equals your 10%. And then you'll be financing the remaining 90%. So regardless of whether you have a total of 5% or a total of 60, 70, 80%, you're only putting down that first 5% within the first 10 days of the offer. The rest of it is going to come at the closing. And the first $1,000 you put with the offer, and then the remaining 5% balance, that can be written as a personal check. It can be wired. The money that you bring to the closing needs to be a bank check, or it needs to be wired. You can't bring a personal check to the closing. So those are the primary liquid assets you'll need. There are a couple of other things that you do need to pay for when you're making an offer on a house. One is a home inspection. Home inspection is done usually within about a week. Within a week after the offer is accepted, you have usually about 7 to 10 days to do due diligence. You hire a home inspector. That's going to run you anywhere from usually $400 to $1,000, maybe a little bit more, depending on how big the property is. That's going to be something that you're going to have to pay for up front. And then, assuming you're financing the property, the bank is also going to need to do its own appraisal of the property. And that is something that you pay for as well. And that's usually about a $300 to $500 fee. So those are the upfront costs that you are paying when purchasing.
Yeah, those, the appraisal and the inspection, those are often forgotten about, I think, when we're preparing to purchase a house.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Any other hidden costs? Like or maybe
costs?
Well,
any other kind of due diligence that you need to do on the house is at your own expense. So if you're doing a lead test or an asbestos test, if the home inspector finds evidence of pests, you want to have a pest inspection done. Any kind of due diligence is going to be at the buyer's expense during that time. And again, in this competitive market that we're in right now, some buyers are electing to put more money down at the offer. As again, the typical is $1,000. Some people are offering to put $5,000 or $10,000, with the offer, just to make their offer seem a little bit more quote unquote sincere or serious. Again, that money is coming out of the total 5% that you're putting down initially within that first 10-day period. But some people are preferring to do that right up front as opposed to at the purchase and sale agreement.
Nice. So yeah, make their offer stronger, or theoretically.
Yeah, to make it look stronger, to make it look like, hey, we really mean business here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Does that help? Is it, I don't know. Can we really measure that, if it helps or not?
Well, I think the way it helps is if you're having a home inspection done as part of your offer, if you choose to back out of the deal after you've had a home inspection due to any issues that come up during the home inspection, you're potentially at risk of losing that greater sum of money up front. So in other words, typically if you make an offer and you put $1,000 down with the offer and you choose to do a home inspection, but you don't make it as a contingency, you risk losing potentially that $1,000 deposit.
Oh.
$1,000 is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, it's $1,000. It's not the end of the world. Versus if someone says, I'll put down $8,000, and then they choose to have a home inspection, but they don't make the home inspection as a contingency.
Okay.
And if they choose to back out after that, now they're losing $8,000. So it goes to show the seller that this particular buyer, again, depending on what the terms are with the rest of the offer, could potentially be a more serious buyer than the standard, hey, I'm just throwing down the normal $1,000.
That's really interesting. It's like how you craft the offer. It depends on how you want to approach it.
It's so true. It's all about how to craft an offer in this market. When you're dealing with so much competition, people only have a certain amount of money. There's no money tree that people can just grab money off of. Most sellers are going to accept offers based on money, and there's nothing we can do about that. All we can do is try to make our offer as attractive as possible in other ways as well. So if we're competing with another offer and that offer is, maybe it's $5,000 to $10,000 more, what else can we do with respect to term? Can we get creative in any way to make our offer stand out, even though we're not able to offer as much money? For some sellers, it's not going to matter. It's strictly going to be who offers the most money. But for other sellers, they are willing to look at those types of other issues, or not issues, but those other types of terms.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right. I'm sure we can contact you to see how to craft a good offer.
Absolutely. Anyone who has questions about it can feel free to reach out. I'm happy to discuss.
Yeah, and drop your questions in the comments, guys.
Hey guys, if you're liking this content and are eager to hear more, I would encourage you to keep on watching. Click on the button to subscribe, and you will be the first to get new, fresh content as soon as I put it on the internet.